Welcome back, everyone, to Truth and Freedom Podcast, where awakening begins with asking the question most people are afraid to ask. I'm your host, Dr. Dan Amzalag, and this is not just another podcast. This is a journey into awareness, courage, and truth. Today, we're starting season 2 of this podcast with the Awakening from Within series episode, The Psychology of Control and How Systems Shape Our Thoughts. Let's start by taking a deep breath. Now think about this. How many of your beliefs are truly yours? How many of your opinions, your fears, your desires, the thing you call you, are original? We all like to think we're independent thinkers, but most of what we call individuality has been carefully molded by the world around us. From the moment we open our eyes as children, society begins to tell us what to believe, how to behave, what success looks like, and who should we become. Now, we learn early what earns approval and what brings rejection. We adjust ourselves accordingly, not because we're weak, but because belonging feels safer than standing alone. This is what psychologists call conditioning, the silent training of the mind to fit within a collective narrative. And the truth is, most of all live our entire life inside that invisible script, rarely questioning who wrote it for us. Control today isn't about chains or cages. It's about invisible influence. It's about guiding your thoughts so subtly that you believe they're your own. And this is the genius of modern systems. They don't need to force obedience. They simply shape perception. They flood us with information, entertainment, and fear until we can no longer tell the difference between truth and noise. When you scroll through your phone, you think you're choosing what to see, but algorithms are creating your reality. When you turn on the news, you believe you're being informed, but often you're being emotionally steered towards outrage or fear. When you buy, post, argue, or vote, the illusion is that you're acting freely, but beneath the surface, patterns of behavior have been engineered to keep you predictable, divided, and reactive. This is about conspiracy. It's psychology. It's how influence works. True control doesn't shout, it whispers. It doesn't imprison your body, it occupies your mind. And this control thrives on one simple human weakness, our need for belonging. From our evolutionary standpoint, rejection once meant death. The brain still treats exclusion as danger. So we conform. We hide our authentic opinion, silence our intuition, and adjust ourselves to avoid judgment. Over time, we stop even noticing that we trade truth for comfort. And the more we conform, the more the system tightens its grip. And not because someone told us to obey, but because we told ourselves it's safer that way. Now we can see it everywhere in how we consume information, how we dress, what we post online, what we celebrate, even what we fear. We have been taught to think within certain parameters, and anything beyond that feels dangerous. But here's the thing. Freedom isn't the absence of control, it's the awareness of it. Now, once you start to notice the pattern, once you ask, what do I believe this? Who benefits from me thinking this way? Then you start beginning to reclaim your mind. Awareness is rebellion. Awareness is liberation. Think about the times you've said, that's just how it is. That sentence is the signature of conditioning. Who decided it has to be that way? Was it your family, your culture, the media, your fears? Actually, most of the time, the rules we follow aren't being real. They're social agreements disguised as truth. And the media, whether intentionally or not, knows how to exploit this. It thrives on polarization because division sells. Fear keeps you engaged. Outrage keeps you scrolling. And every click, every share, every argument feeds the system. And the more emotionally charged you are, the less rational you become. Now you think you're defending your truth, but in reality, you're participating in a psychological economy built on your attention. So how do we reclaim our mental sovereignty? It begins with observation. Notice your own thoughts without judgment. Watch how quickly your mind reacts when someone disagrees with you. Watch how easily you label things as good or bad. This automatic reaction reveals the program running in the background. Awareness doesn't mean fighting the system. It means stepping outside of it. It means realizing that your thoughts are not you. They're just inputs shaped by a lifetime of exposure. So when you slow down and breathe before reacting, you interrupt the pattern. Every pause becomes an act of resistance because control thrives on automatic responses, on predictable outrage, on unconscious compliance. Now, the moment you choose to pause, reflect, and respond differently, the system loses its power over you. Reconnection is the next step. Reconnecting to reality, to the world beyond the noise. Spend time in silence, in nature, in presence. Touch something real. Look at the sky without documenting it. Speak with someone face to face. The digital world fills your mind, but the real world nourishes your being. And when you remember what real connection feels like, manipulation loses its grip. Now, the final step is defining freedom for yourself. What does it mean to you? Is it emotional peace, creative autonomy, the ability to think and love without fear? Freedom is not about escaping systems. It's about not letting them define you. It's about becoming so self-aware that no label, no ideology, no algorithm can tell you who you are. But make no mistake, awakening has a cost. When you stop following the script, people notice. Some will distance themselves. Some will challenge you. They may say, hey, you've changed. And they're right. You have changed. You've stopped being predictable. You've stopped being manageable. And that can be lonely at first, but it's also beautiful because awakening isn't about superiority. It's about clarity. You begin to see that most people aren't your enemies. They're just deeply asleep. They're repeating what they were taught, believing what they were told, afraid to look deeper. So meet them with compassion, not contempt. And remember, the goal isn't to destroy the system. It's to understand them, so you're no longer controlled by them. The real revolution begins in the mind, in questioning the unquestioned. Because once awareness takes root, obedience dies naturally. So, as we close the first episode, I invite you to do something simple yet powerful. This week, whenever you find yourself repeating a belief, an opinion, or even a fear, pause yourself and ask, who told me that? Trace it back to its origin. Was it your upbringing, your newsfeed, a cultural norm, or perhaps an old wound? And then ask yourself, is it true now? Does it still serve me? Now, you may be surprised how many of you convictions dissolve under honest reflection. That's the beauty of awareness. And once you see the cage, you've already stepped outside of it. So, in our next episode, we'll explore something similar to emotional independence and how to detach without disconnecting, or how to love deeply without you leaving yourself. Until then, my friends, stay awake, stay grounded, and stay free.